Hey everybody, welcome back to BigRedEDC. Today we're going to take a look at the third and final of the three new CRKT releases for 2020 that I picked up right off the bat. Now this one is of course the tuna. I mean, come on guys. You know, as much as I like fishing, if somebody puts out a knife that's named after a fish, there's probably a pretty good chance I'm going to pick it up. And I did. This is, as I said, the CRKT Tuna. Where it is? There it is. Is that it? That's it. The tuna is a Lucas Burnley design. Nice G10 handle there. Got a splash of orange on it as well with that pivot collar. Then you've got the orange aluminum back spacer as well with your integrated lanyard hole there. So lanyard fans rejoice. I do have a stainless, fairly deep carry pocket clip. Right hand tip up only. No lefty love on the tuna. Frame lock. Stainless clip side with that kind of black stonewashed finish on it. Moving to the blade, you got the same black stonewashed finish, black washed finish on the blade. That nice kind of thick spear point to it. Of course, your CRKT logo. As I said, there's the tuna. Oh, it's dusty. Lucas Burnley design and the model number right there. Now, as you can see, the tuna is a thumb stud deployer, dual thumb stud. That is. Oh, and I just hosed that up. I hosed it up again. That's crazy. There it is. It is riding on Teflon washers. So I have not adjusted the pivot or anything like that. I usually try to leave them as is until I review them. So, I mean, it's definitely not going to be a drop shutter at this point. But it does flip out pretty well. Let's get some measurements on it real quick. So the tuna, we are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just shy of 7 3/4 fully open. It's going to give you a handle length right about, if you go all the way to the end of the backspacer there, you're looking at about pretty darn close to 4.5 on the handle, which is going to give you roughly 3 1/4 on the blade. And that's pretty much from where you stop the blade. Yeah, you're pretty much 3 1/4 inch cutting edge as well. Maybe just a hair more. Grip length. Grip length, you're looking at natural grip length. In this point, you're looking at just over 3 inches. If you had to, I think you could move outside that without much discomfort. I mean, when I move down just to try, there's no discomfort or anything. It doesn't feel like it's putting my finger in a weird position. But 3-inch grip on that natural grip point. Let me make sure I'm not lying to you. Just over 3 inches. Let's take a look at a weight. Not bad at all. 3.8. That's not too bad at all. Really. 108 grams. Now, the tuna has got a fairly... It reminds me of... There it is. This knife. kind of sort of just its general shape. This would be the steel wheel piercer. Move them up there and zoom in just a little bit so you get a better picture of that. And it's similar, just like the handle's not quite as curved as it is on the piercer, but you've got that tall spear point blade on there. So yeah, I mean, it's a similar design. Obviously, the Tuna is a thumb stud deployment where the piercer just has the hole for deployment, no other means. But that's just kind of what it reminded me of right off the bat on first glance. Size comparison. I mean, I just have my bug out here, so I mean, profiles are completely different, but it's pretty much the same length as a bug out. So, this is a standard bug out. This is not the new mini bug out. Let's take a look at our carry on it. As I said, it's fairly deep carry where that handle comes to a point, you know, with the back spacer and your lanyard hole there, it does protrude a little bit more. But I mean, you're looking at your 1/2 inch, maybe just a little bit more. But since it's that pointed profile, you don't have a lot of knife showing. Decent, really decent in and out of pocket, good retention in the pocket. The clip's pretty sturdy. I know it maybe doesn't look like it just because of the huge hole in it, but it's a pretty darn sturdy clip. So bravo to that. Speaking of the clip, there you go. The recessed clip, recessed screws. Yes, the top screw is tight. It is just sitting a little bit proud. I mean, they both are. So they're both tight. So let's see, do I have where has the little dot? There it is. I should have pulled this one out here. But here's the Pete, and we'll just kind of give you an idea. There you go. Now you're talking recessed screws. On the, I think that's the way the Tuna is supposed to look, because they are recessed screws. However, they don't quite look like that. They do stand a little bit proud, so, but they're tight. They are definitely tight. Other points in hand, it's really pretty darn comfortable in hand. Fits, there you go. Like I said, my natural grip length or grip is right about 3 inches, so I pretty much fit right in the groove. It does feel really good in hand. Jimping, no, not so much. It's there for looks. I mean, it's completely it's basically either, yeah, it's below. It's not even really flush. It might be, but it doesn't. For the jimping to be effective, it needs to be out here for me. I mean, if I come back and try to get on it, it's forcing my hand in kind of an awkward position. So, does it need it? No, it doesn't need it. You've got that landing pad for your thumb right there on the spine. So it locks in and I can get a pretty darn good grip without jimping. But if they were going to put it on there and it was going to be useful, it needed to be like way out here in my opinion. The blade, the thumb studs are pretty much out of your cutting path, really, for the most part. I mean, you've got, they're in there a little bit, but not too terrible, I guess. The choil is, well, it is what it is. They just really didn't bring the blade all the way back and just kind of cut it up a little. So, should be fairly effective. I do kind of like that style of blade, the tall spear point like that. Decent swedge on it. Like I said, it is riding on Teflon washers, so I mean it does flip out pretty good. But it definitely it takes some shaking to get it down. And then your detent, seems a little soft. Yes, you can shake the blade out pretty easily. Overall construction, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Kind of the same thing with the Pete. You've got the interior, the exterior of the G10. Come on, focus. There you go. The exterior of the G10 is done very well. Everything's chamfered. No sharp spots. Nothing like that. The stainless portion of the handle, again, chamfered very well. No sharp spots. No fang like on the Chehalem. Decent access to the frame lock. I mean, it's not, there is a little bit of a cutout, but then you can kind of see, there you go. You can kind of see there is a little bit of a cutout on the frame as well to help you get, could it be a little better? Yeah, it could, but it's not too bad. I can access it fairly easily. You know, nothing too traumatic or detrimental about that. The interior of the G10, again, you know, it does kind of have that feeling. This one does not, though. I could definitely feel the Pete. I could feel that aspect of the Pete in grip, maybe because of the size. This one, not so much. Not so much really at all. The clip doesn't really bother my grip. Yeah, so overall it's pretty decent. I mean, a couple of minor QC issues, I guess, on this one, like that with the screws. I mean, I really believe they're supposed to look like the Chehalem and the Pete do and be fully recessed, but they're not. So, and then the G10 on the inside. But other than that, you know, the Tuna, out of all three that I had, the Tuna was probably getting the most love in the comments. And on first impressions, it was the one I liked the most, and you know, it probably still is. I really don't think, after using all three and getting a chance to get to know them, I'd say out of the three I got, the Chehalem, the Pete, and the Tuna is probably still the one I am digging the most of the three. I will tell you what, guys, I am going to do kind of an overview or wrap up, if you will, on all three of these knives and CRKT in general. So keep your eyes open for that. Blue gives it an 8. Nothing wrong with it. It's a good knife. For the most part, it's a good knife. Price-wise, I don't think I said it's 8CR13 steel. Did I say that? Well, if I didn't, it is. And this guy runs for right about $45. So, if I was going to have a biggest nitpick with this knife, it would probably be that, to be perfectly honest with you. But then again, that's what the wrap-up video is for. So, I'm not going to go too in-depth right now. You'll have to check that one out. But there you go, guys. CRKT Tuna. Not a bad knife overall, really. Pretty decent knife. Very usable. Worked very well. Cut a lot of rope. So it did its job. But thank you guys for checking out the Tuna with me today. As always, like, subscribe, leave me a comment. You know I love talking to y'all. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Bye-bye.